Welcome back to this Let's Play of the original official campaign for
going on?
Neverwinter Nights 2. Last time we recruited a new character, Casimir the Paladin, after finding out that, well, our emissary was not where we thought he was. There's some, wow, some interesting enemies here, these blade spiders. I'm kind of mixing up my party a little bit, just for the sake of fun. I guess they're new, but they're not hard. It might have something to do with my well-buffed party. I'm using some characters I haven't been using previously. I have Eleni. I don't think I've taken out of the party since it started, but she's kind of my only divine caster, so I don't know that I'm stuck with her. I don't really need healing that badly. You can just rest if you want to heal, but she's nice to have. She casts some nice buffs, and, well, you know. Quara here is the new one. Actually, speaking of Eleni,
I am listening.
I'm going to take this cloak off of her and give it to Quara, because Quara actually gets benefit from having a higher charisma, and for Eleni it's just a cosmetic item. I'm going to try and drive, as it were, as Quara, just from the standpoint of the AI is incredibly stupid when it comes to actually casting spells.
These enemies will not stand against us for long.
I have crumbs, point.
And we just gained another level, so I had just gained a couple levels on Quara because she has been out of the party for a while, but
let me lead the way. You follow behind.
The bloodthirsty urges of my party. Oh, I guess there's a chest there. I'll clean everything up off
Attack!
screen. More spiders, and obviously I'm gonna have to rest and everything. But for now, I'm just going to continue throwing the big stuff. And my main character's going to walk right into the middle of it like an idiot, but...
I hear crumbs, boy. Well, I mean, I haven't been casting Orb of Fire off my main character, so maybe I should actually do some things for the Know-It-All challenge. But for now, I'm just going to gain the levels that I've just earned. I gained my own level off screen. The build is linked in the video description if you have any questions. Casimir, like pretty much most of my characters, doesn't have a whole lot that's of interest. They added this parry mechanic in... for the Neverwinter Nights games. It's not actually in the core AD&D system, but I'm not really sure why they did it. I've never messed around with it. It's not very useful. Casimir, by the way, can cast some spells. The only thing I've been having him cast so far is Shield Other, mostly to keep Quara alive, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. Eleni is also just standard stuff. I'm actually going to focus on having her raise her heal skill so I get more out of those healer skills. The way. You follow behind.
Quara is a little more complicated, unfortunately, because I have kind of a conflict of interest between having her learn things that are actually useful and having her learn things that I need for my challenge. I'm going to pick up Glass Doppelganger, which is a kind of a new spell. I think they added it in Storm of Zahir. It's a weird one, let's just put it that way. And the other thing I'm going to pick up is, I'm going to ditch Death Armor, since I've already sort of transferred it over, for Scorching Ray. And that's all that. So I'll clean up and be right back. Now I've got all these new spells to play around with, so I might as well get to it. Some of them are going to be useful, some of them are not. One that I'm just going to cast straight off here is Bladeweave. I might actually use this spell long term. It makes your melee attacks stun enemies. Daze them, actually, I think, not stun. And, you know, we'll open up with a little bit of Orb of Electricity for the fun of it. Hey, you don't actually have to walk up. The whole point of casting a spell is that you don't have to walk up to their face, huh? Otherwise, I just use a melee attack, because they're a lot faster and a lot more effective. Though it's sometimes fun to throw around some elementals. But there are some new spells. Now, if you look very closely at this map, you'll realize this is actually a recycled map. I think this is exactly the same map that they used for Kelgar's area.
I am listening.
But they're fairly subtle about it. They have you approaching it from essentially walking in from the opposite direction, and they're not sort of blatant. Hey, look, we're using the same map again because we're lazy. They are, but at least they're not totally.
Let us settle this.
Deep Slumber is the improved version of Sleep, and I was kind of expecting that it would still work on them, and it does not. They must be too high level already.
Attack!
Unfortunately, the AI is not very smart about the barricades. I'm gonna have Cora, just sort of throw some fire around. And Scorching Ray is kind of an amusing spell. It actually gains in power as you gain levels. Though, I guess it's still not very powerful. Because it didn't kill them.
Yeah, I can do it. I'll handle this one.
Look, we're just gonna have to break more barricades if you guys can't get through.
Well, well.
I think
Looks
being
like we have
large
some new
apparently has some
targets.
disadvantages. That was a surprisingly difficult fight for just a bunch of orcs. I'm gonna rest up, I'll be right back. Well, I guess being large and in charge is just not as what it's cracked out to be, so let's try the opposite. And run around as a bunch of little munchkins. I cannot shrink Quara's weasel, but, I can still run around as the weasel. The purpose, one of the purposes of familiars is that you can cast spells, touch range spells, through the familiar. Now, the question is whether the familiar is actually going to hit, but we'll have to see on that. There's got to be some orcs around here somewhere. Oh. I guess it helps if I go the right way. This is supposed to be the address of the Eyegouger clan. Do we need to do a little return to sender here? I've seen all of 4 orcs so far. Here's another set. Again, behind barricades. Let's see if it actually helps to be a little smaller. But I'm also going to open up a little bit with a little bit more
You know nothing, Academy living
aggressive
cantrip casting sop.
choices.
The land is against you.
And maybe this will be easier just because we're not going to try and walk through it. Well, I guess I'll just have to... I'm not going to bother casting death armor if they can't even get to me. Oh, come on. Say hi to Fireball. Or actually, Quara killed it with her crossbow. Like the animal companions, if your familiars get damaged, you can just unsummon them or resummon them easily enough. Oh hey, heavy crossbow +1. And some random junk. Crossbows +1 is sort of ranged weapons +1. Don't work the way normal weapons +1 do. They don't give a damage bonus. Here, I'm going to cast Death Armor. I'm going to run up to these blade spiders. I'm actually going to specifically turn defensive casting mode off because I want them to hit me. And I want to actually get to them.
Hey, guys, I'm trying to do something.
can do that.
Run away, huh?
For Marilyn.
And then cast Fireburst on myself. Fireburst always targets you, and it always hits everything around you, which, let's just say is not the greatest choice when you have friendly fire enabled. Without friendly fire, it's a fairly useful spell. It's actually one of the higher damage level 2 spells, but, you know, with friendly fire, it's just... It's not suicidal, but it's not friendly. Wow, that's a big blade spider. And there are a couple more orcs. I guess I should probably, you know, have some fun with Kara here and try and cast Glass Doppelganger on that blade spider. Oh, it died first. Let's try Glass Doppelgangering. Yeah. Now, these Glass Doppelgangers are immune to some kinds of damage, but for the most part, they're just... I mean, I'm just kind of curious, actually, to look at it, because it actually, you can use them to identify what your opponent's stats are. So these orcs are level 5 fighters. Really? That's not too bad. They have really bad stats, but they're orcs. What did you expect? They're not half-orcs. Half-orcs. There's nothing wrong with half-orcs. Anyway, here we are at the eyelid of the Eyegouger clan, and when we come back next time, we'll actually go inside. For now, I think we're done. See you then.